Today I want to talk about dealing with autofilled supports. An autofilled support player is the most toxic thing that you will encounter in this game. There are players who are mad that they got stuck with support when they wanted to play one of the other 4 roles, and there's a very high probability that they will pick champions that they do not know how to play. They will then play those champions poorly and insist that the game is lost because they got stuck playing support. At a bare minimum, you can expect them to be raging at your team over every minor incident, complaining that they got stuck supporting a horrible team. Now the problem isn't just that they're going to perform poorly, the problem is that if they do perform poorly, they will also drag down the AD carry with them. And what this means is that there will be 2 people on your team who are behind, and the question you need to ask yourself is, can you carry this? There is one particular situation in which it is actually a good idea to give up a role that you can carry on in order to cover the support role, and that is if you're picking mid or top before your lane opponent picks his champion. Particularly in the case where the autofill support gets the pick much later. As an example, if you are a Riven main, you might not want to pick Riven first, then find out you now have to deal with a Renekton on the enemy team. It's going to be a horrible game for you. So even though you might be able to carry in the role you've been assigned, you should consider going support if it gives your team an overall advantage through pick orders. Plus, you won't have to deal with that one guy who's mad that he got autofilled as support. But you don't want to pick just any support champion because unless you actually main support, you will not be able to carry on any random support champion. What if the guy that you swapped with performs poorly? You willingly given up a role that you can carry on only to watch the guy that you swapped with squander away the opportunity that you've given him. And you've crippled yourself by putting yourself in a role where you can't carry. This is why you'll want to play a support champion that can deal carry level damage in order to make up for the possibility that the guy you swapped with fails. The 4 champions that you'll want to learn for this position are Zyra, Vel'Koz, Brand, and Annie. You don't have to be great with them, but knowing how to use their kit adequately is sufficient. Zyra, Vel'Koz, and Brand are known for topping the damage charts in most games, and Annie has the ability to burst down squishy champions. Let's take a look at what this looks like in game. In this particular game, I was first pick, and I was actually thinking of first picking Malzahar for the top lane. Our last pick got autofilled as support and wanted to play anything else. Since it turned out that he plays a lot of top lane, I decided to take the support role and let him go top. This gave him the opportunity to counterpick what would become the top lane Galio of the enemy team with a Darius. Naturally, he set up an easy gank for our jungler and picked up first blood on Galio. From there, he continued to snowball and started dominating the game. In the meantime, I had gone support Annie building a bunch of AP items since I don't really know how to play any other supports. While we didn't do as well as I had hoped we would in lane, I was still able to make plays with Annie throughout the game, catching people out. Here I caught out Lulu with the help of Varus getting a kill for our team. Later on, I caught out Jhin, and a short while later I caught Lulu again. And much later into the game, we even managed to beat Galio and Wukong in a 2 vs 2 as I dropped Tibbers just before I died, and Varus was able to use the slow from Rylas to clean up this fight. If I hadn't gone support here, we might have ended up with a disgruntled raging support that did not know what he was doing. On the other hand, if I had stuck with my initial role and went Malzahar top, I probably would have ended up in a boring farm fest with Galio in lane, but because we swapped roles, my team now has a Darius going on a killing spree destroying the enemy team. We went on to win this game, and the key part of this was my willingness to swap with the guy that got autofilled as support. In summary, consider learning a bit of Zyra, Brand, Vel'Koz, and Annie so that you have them as options to fill in as a carry support for someone who got autofilled into the support role. Use these options to grant your team an advantage in pick order, and you'll find yourself less frustrated with those games where you'd normally have to deal with a toxic autofilled support player. If you enjoyed this video, do subscribe to the channel, follow on Twitter, and check out the video links on either side. Leave a comment about the kind of content you'd like to see in future videos, and check out the Patreon link if you'd like to support this channel directly.